and tell you one story which I remember from my old days. When I was a kid of your age, maybe younger, I used to go to play every evening, and when I used to come back, I used to drink water from the tap. And when I was recalling the same, when I was coming back, coming to this session, I was remembering when was the last time I had water from the tap. How many of you had water from the tap? You do have water from your normal. But how many of you had in the last 5-10 days? Yeah. When was the last time you guys remember having water from the tap?
Last life.
Yeah. Not in India. None? Yes, I think that's what has happened to us, to water, and actually to all the kids, I'm really sorry on behalf of my parents and my ancestors and my current generation that this is what we have done to the earth, that there's no free water right now. And I am a bit scared that in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll be saying the same stuff to the air, and there'll be no fresh air around to breathe. In the last 1,000 days of what you're living in Delhi, there has been just 3 days when you had fresh air. Just 3 days. The highest which you ever breathed was at 1400, 1500 AQI, which is, as per any standards, they don't know what happens after 500 because they've stopped. After 400 is hazardous, but in November 8th and 9th last year, the air quality went to 1400. Most of the monitors were at just showing 999 because that's what they have been meant to show. There's just 3 digits in them, but the air quality went beyond that. So yes, sorry for what you have done to the earth and what you have done to Delhi and the place we are living in. But unfortunately, my parents will die soon. My ancestors will die. I'll also move out. But I think for you guys to stay and for this generation to have, we need to do something about it, and we need to change the world. We need to change the things you are living in. Me or my company can just be an enabler to help you know what you can do about it. But I think you guys have to change it and be that change which everybody wants to see. I will not tell much about it, I think, because God and Google knows about everything, and you guys are more prone and more adapt to Google than I am, and you can study on what is to be done and how things to be changed on Google. But yes, I'll tell you some of the things which we are doing at Nurturing Green to save this SOS situation right now. And one of the ways we started doing was from the nature itself. Somehow, God, when was creating the earth, it made plants, which is we're trying to cut very fast in Delhi. But there are some of these plants which NASA had sort of did a research and came out with. There are these 14 of them, which sort of absorb these gases which are outside in the air and are harmful to it. Which if we bring in our community or in our living spaces, we will be able to have a better balance of fresh air indoors specifically. Before that, let me also give you some of the examples. I'm seeing a lot of people yawning right now. It's because probably you had a unbalanced breakfast, or a lot of people are also sleeping, I can see. It's also because maybe there's a boring lecture going on. I used to do that a lot. Or missing your school with the same sessions or interesting sessions. Maybe. Yeah. So, but there is also one more reason. Right now, the CO2 levels in these rooms are really high. So it's not because you are preferably want to yawn or your body is reacting. It's because the air is bad right now. I was just checking. July is usually one of the best months in terms of the air quality. And right now, the air quality outside is at 180. In Paris, when it was above 150 air quality, there was an emergency which was been declared. But here we have just been blessed saying, we are into one of the best air qualities right now. Yes, so it's 180 outside, and inside it's much higher. The CO2 levels are much higher indoors because there's so many people breathing out carbon dioxide. There are few of these ACs which are working, but somehow, for example, these are just recycling the same air across. It's not bringing the outside air, so the CO2 levels goes up. Even if this would have been bringing the fresh air from outside, there's no fresh air outside. So anyways, it's bringing the bad air inside around. So we did a lot of these experiments in schools also. In one of the schools we did, the CO2 levels were above 2500 in the classrooms. You know, and what's the standard should be somewhere around 500, 600. And I wondered what the kids must be learning out of it. You know, we are doing a lot of these projects and experiments with offices also. Pardon? Yes. And this was usually, we realized that this was happening around the end of the period. So if it's a 1 hour period, it's almost at 40-45 minutes that the CO2 was going up because the doors were not opening and maybe the AC was not functioning. It was just recycling the air around. We were doing the same experiments in a lot of offices around, and we did a lot of research, and we are also still doing a lot of research and realize what should we do to bring the indoor air quality the better way. How many of you, just for my knowledge, know about what's there in the air? Can somebody tell when somebody says AQI is poor, what does that mean? How many gases or substances are there? Okay. Anything else? Some of it's true. Pardon? No. Okay. Okay. I'll come closer to that. Anybody else? No? Nobody knows what you're breathing right now? Benzene. Chlorine. No. Sorry. Pardon? Xylene, benzene. Yeah, I'll come to it. Nobody did Googling ever of what you're breathing right now. Is it bad? Is it good? Is it right? How many of you guys know about that the air quality is bad? Just raise the hand. Do you know that the air quality is bad? Yeah? And you're doing nothing about it? Do you know what's in that? Why it's bad? There are pollutants there. What? Particulate matter. Yes, that's one thing. Anything else? Lead has recently been found in the air. Yes. So let me just quickly. I mean, obviously you have Google to do it. Just Google what are the components of AQI, and it will tell you about it. But still, let me just give you a quick brief about that. Why the air is bad, and when the air quality is set at 900 or 800, what does it mean? So the air quality comprises of various elements, and different countries, they name it as differently. In India, so there are 3 standards: US, China, and now the India standard is coming out. The air quality is mostly, the air is comprised of the PM, so which is a particulate matter. So PM 2.5, PM 10, PM 0.3 across. Then there are these VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds like xylene, benzene, and mostly all carbon compounds which are harmful to the human body. There is CO2 which is there in the bad air. It's not AQI. I'm just talking about what is bad air. There is CO2 which is higher in amount. There is oxygen. When it goes beyond a certain level, goes down, then it's bad for the human body. There is O3, which is ozone, which is there in the thing. There's NOx and SOx, which is there in the air. And there's this index which says, which is a combination of all these, which tells when it says that it's above 400, then it's hazardous. If it's above 50, then it's not good for a human body. So whenever you guys next are outside, just put an app download of various apps which tells you what the air quality is nearby you, so that you guys know what you guys are breathing about, so that you can take a particular action about that specific thing. O3 is ozone basically. It's a combination. It's a three atoms of oxygen. So ozone is very hazardous.
Anu, I think you. Excuse me. We'll have to stop these questions. Let him continue because we have to break for lunch also.
Yes, so I'll
So
quickly just
I
talk
would request you to let the speaker continue.
I'll quickly then talk about the
Solutions.
natural air
Solutions.
purifiers.
Natural
Yes,
solutions.
yes. So the natural solutions about it, which are there in the systems, which is basically the plants, which we do. So in one of our concepts which we have brought in is the AQI, where we are selling these 14 air purifying plants. The best one is, for example, just a thumb rule for you guys for your bedroom. If it's a 200 square feet room, you're two people sleeping in around, you should have at least 3 to 3.5 feet of these plants around. The most common which you can find around anywhere is the money plant, which all of you guys know about maybe. It's also there is Sansevieria, which is mother's-in-law tongue around. Again, if you just Google the air purifying plants, you will have all the list and will tell which of these plants absorb what sort of gases. But if you are able to bring those in your lifestyle, which, so for example, in my room, with two people live there, and usually the VOCs around is at all times the normals, and the oxygen levels are usually again the same ones because we use a lot of Erica. So my room is just filled with plants around. It's one of the ways where you can control the bad air which is coming from outside, or even if you have, for example, a normal Erica, which is a 3 feet height with 150 leaves, will do somewhere around 27 liters of oxygen around, which is, and 23 liters of oxygen is what you require, let's say. Now, having these ones in your rooms or in your offices or in your schools will help maintain the balance of the environment around, especially the indoors. Indoors is something which is more important because a lot of your time which you are spending in your life is mostly indoors. So when you're sleeping, your metabolism is happening, you need fresh air around. When you're studying, your efficiencies goes down because the CO2s goes up in that particular environment. So you need to have these plants specifically around in your indoors. Having said that, you can buy these anywhere from the local nurseries, or you can order online, or it's available at our stores anywhere across. Having said that, that's the solution just for the indoors. That's not solving the bigger purpose of the pollution around. The bigger purpose to be solved, which we've been discussing about, is to plant a lot of these trees around. So while you guys have living in the RWAs on your societies, just look around the places which you find empty, go out and plant these trees around. If you want to get access to these trees and not able to, we can help anytime get you these free plants. You can buy even from the local nurseries. They don't cost much, but even then we can help you get these free for your society, so you can plant these ones. Biggest reason of PM which has been coming recently is the side dust which is there on the roads, right? And which is because there are no plants across there. So either you cement them or you plant trees around. So wherever you see nearby of your areas which are, let's say, barren, or there are some patches where there's just soil which is there, either you put the grass there or put a plant across. So at least each of us will start doing these in patches. There will be a bigger change which will start coming around it. Yeah. So I think that's it. Anything else which you guys want to know about air purifying plants, I'm happy to talk about in detail in the next.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anugrover. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you.
We do have time for some questions.
Yeah.
I would just like to know, in a class of 40 students, how many planters can we place?
Ideally, you should have 80 plants there.
So
it's
how
not
is
possible
it?
to have them. So,
So give us suggestions how to plant and place, because it's failed miserably. We studied it in all 8 sections of each class in our school, but then suddenly there was space crunch and all.
Yeah, so you need to have more healthy plants. I mean, when I'm talking about 80 plants, I'm talking about the low grade quality. If you are able to increase or enhance the quality of the plant, so when I say a plant, it's a number of leaves, let's say, because that's the surface area which it's been doing the work. So if you can increase the surface area of the plant by having, let's say, a very bushy plant, you might have a 1/3 of the plants needed. Or maybe if it's 4 times the size, then 1/4 the size there. So then by then the space crunch will eventually be solved. Or you can have vertical walls if you have a bigger college to fund that.
Excuse me, sir. I mean, is it good to keep those plants at the night time? Because
Yes, there has been a lot of WhatsApp myths. Don't go by it. Just Google it. Of course, there are some of these. So what happens is that giving out carbon dioxide or absorbing oxygen is just a phenomena. So when they do the reverse is when they are doing the photosynthesis, basically. They take the light, they make their own food, and they need nutrients from the soil, and they also take the carbon dioxide from the system, and they do photosynthesis, right? In the night, this photosynthesis doesn't happen, which doesn't mean that the reverse starts happening. So there has been some myths about that you should not put these plants indoors. You should. It's just that there are some plants which can do the photosynthesis in the low light also. So if your lux level is, let's say, at 400, so if you just take out the app and just show it here the lux level will be around at 300, 400. You will be able to have the plants do that photosynthesis, at least these few of them. And the Erica is one and money plant is the one which can do very good photosynthesis in low light also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.